we just discussed it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Everybody ready?
He's the one that had my mom instructed.
Let's call the meeting to order. Everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and immediately following a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We all have regulars here, but a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the county's YouTube channel in the very near future. Since the last time the commissioners met as a board, there have been a few times that we've been in the room together. None of them were executive sessions that were not previously announced. On the 23rd, I actually can't remember if anyone else was with me for the first internet bank. I may have just been me signing those. It was just you and me, wasn't it?
I think it was myself and Commissioner Anderson.
Right.
You, I think.
That was simply signing previously approved documents. On the 24th, the prison board had a meeting to review a body scanner for the jail. On the 5th, I went into the Little League meeting with Commissioner Eggleston for like 30 seconds. And then on the 6th, we had the USDA law meeting. Again, those are agreements that had previously been passed in the public meeting. Did I miss anything? Very good. Correspondence. Any correspondence to bring before the board? One thing I had to bring before the board is that the Northwest Commission has completed their petrochemical supply chain opportunity study. I brought the executive summary with me. Unfortunately, we had a Rouse board meeting at the same time that they're presenting it, but luckily they had a meeting the next day that I was able to go to last Friday. I think that it is worth the commissioner's time to take a look at minimum the executive summary. I'll go ahead and email you the entire opportunity study. I think the paper might be interested in it as well. For quick background, petrochemical plant is going in Beaver County, and it should have ripple effects all the way up here in terms of supply chain opportunities for our local businesses. As the U.S. is poised to be a net exporter of energy, Pennsylvania is very strategic in that initiative, and Warren County, although we don't have any current operating non-conventional wells, nevertheless could benefit from the economic opportunity surrounding us. So again, I would encourage the commissioners to take a look at minimum at this executive summary that I have printed off here for you, or read the entire study that I'll forward you after this meeting.
Will the executive summary be?
No, I don't have that. Any other correspondence? Very good. So cause for public hearing. Is there any cause for public comment, particularly issues that are not on the agenda? Mr. Scully.
As you well know, the governor still is pushing for us to have to pay for state police protection, and he wants, so he has money for their academy. He was on the national or local news last night saying now he wants to make it where it's based on our population, not the number of people that are in your house. I'm still against it. I think the state representatives and the Senate need to get off their backsides and authorize the local sheriff's department throughout this state to assist. In the incident on the other day was a good example. There was a lot of sheriff department members at the situation, which helped a lot. So they are capable of doing things, and we have to notify the government that we're not for this. Educate. Somehow he's got to come up with the money rather than charge rural Pennsylvania for state police, because we're not going to gain any state police, and you know that as well as I do, in this area.
I imagine you probably saw the Auditor General released information about how the gas tax has diverted some of those monies towards PSP. So this has been a topic of conversation for several years. I believe you alerted me to it before I took office that it was an idea. But it becomes more and more frequently talked about. So I think you're right. It's time for commissioners probably to draft a letter. Let's have that for the next meeting. And if you could help us with that. And I would like to respond and exactly say what you're saying. If the state is going to require that all municipalities have police coverage or pay this fine, essentially what I view as a fine, then we need to look at the county code being revised to allow our sheriff's office to, first of all, have policing powers and have the municipalities voluntarily authorize our sheriff's office to do patrols and such, because the numbers that we crunched last year came out to something to the tune of $600-some thousand that the state would be taking from our local Warren County residents, $25 a head for municipalities that are not covered. And I don't think that we can absorb that. And furthermore, our sheriff's office would be far more efficient than PSP. So I agree. Thank you for bringing that to the table. Any other public comment? Mrs. Zafino.
Who would pay for that?
Who would pay for what?
For the additional policing and patrolling, et cetera, of the sheriff's department?
So it would be off. So what the Commonwealth is suggesting is that they tax municipalities that are not covered by police $25 a head. Right. And so rather than doing that, what I'm suggesting is that the sheriff's office be that entity. The sheriff's office already has, based on discussions I've had with the sheriff previously, the kind of staff in the area actually do some limited patrolling. So I don't think that we would probably see a dramatic increase in work. But that would be a conversation to have with the sheriff. Either way, it would regardless be cheaper for the taxpayers of Warren County for the county to take that on.
So the taxpayers would pay for that additional policing, additional patrolling?
I don't know if it would cost anything more, but I do know that our sheriff's office would be more efficient for no other reason than wages are significantly less, and we don't have a broken pension system like the state does. Any other public comment? Very good. On the agenda today, we have a resolution authorizing an application for red light enforcement program, appointments to the Housing Authority, appointments to the Transit Authority, an agreement with the Allegheny National Forest and the Army Corps of Engineers to do patrols with the Sheriff's Office, Cooperative Agreement with the EOC, and repository tax bids. Anything else that needs to be on the agenda? Have you hearing nothing, have you had a chance to review the minutes for May 22nd? Do they meet with your approval?
They do.
All right. Fiscal report. Fiscal director is not able to be with us today. You'll find it on tab 2. In the general fund, we have a little over $1 million. In the Erie bank account, $450,000 for a grand total of approximately $1.5 million. And at this point in TAN, we have only drawn $1 million compared to last year. That was $2 million. We were able to, I believe you probably remember, the treasurer asked us to sign a couple weeks ago a request for a tax anticipation loan drawdown. However, the treasurer's office was able to work with fiscal in order to postpone that a little bit further. I would anticipate by the next meeting we will have drawn another $500,000 though. Any questions? Very good. Proclamation. Suffrage Centennial. Whereas the Centennial Suffrage Committee of Warren County encourages all citizens, governmental bodies, and organizations to celebrate in their own fashion the collective efforts of the women's suffrage movement, with an emphasis on the years spanning 1848 through 1920. Whereas on May 21st, 1919, the United States Senate, and on June 4th, 1919, the United States House of Representatives voted to pass Joint Resolution Number 1, proposing an amendment to the United States Constitution extending the right of suffrage to women. And whereas on June 19th, 1919, Pennsylvania State Senate with the yea vote of Senator Marshall L. Phipps, representing Warren and Venango counties, and on June 24th, 1919, the Pennsylvania House of Representatives with a yea vote from Warren County Representative Williston Wood of Grand Valley voted approval of the joint resolution, thereby making the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania the seventh state to ratify what is now the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Now therefore be resolved on Monday, May 24th, 2019, the Commissioners of the County of Warren shall cause the bell in the county courthouse tower to be rung 19 times at noon in remembrance and celebration of the centennial of the Pennsylvania ratification of the 19th Amendment, which states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. And be it further resolved that the Commissioners of Warren County do hereby dedicate June 24th, 2019 as Suffrage Centennial Day in commemoration of the passage of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution and in honor of women's rights to vote. We encourage all citizens eligible to vote to participate in the democratic process." Today, any comments from Commissioner Eggleston first? Commissioner Morrison?
No, but I did want to check to make sure in the fourth paragraph down, now therefore be it resolved on Monday. You stated May. Is it
Oh, June.
on yours, June?
It is June.
Okay.
May 24th was when it passed the Senate,
Okay.
or the House.
But it does read June then?
Yes,
Okay.
June 24th. All the commissioners are invited on the 24th to offer 3 to 5 minutes of comments at that celebration that we'll be having at the courthouse steps. I believe former Commissioner Pat Evans will be joining us as a speaker as well, and we will be having Representative Rapp, Senate representative, and is the judge able to send a representative as well?
I believe so. From the judge, I have not heard from Representative Rapp.
Okay, very good. So again, we will be ringing the bell 19 times. I want to thank Lisa Rivet and Pam Matthey for coordinating this effort, and we look forward to seeing you all then. This will be in replacement of the work session. We will not be having our regular work session. Instead, at the same time, on the courthouse steps, we will be having this commemorative event. All right, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda, the minutes for May 22nd, the fiscal report, and this proclamation.
So moved.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There's no old business on the agenda today. For new business, turn to 4. We have the authorization application for the red light enforcement program. This would authorize the submittal of 2019 red light enforcement grant funding application on behalf of the county's 27 municipalities for purchase of traffic control signage that would meet current federal vehicle activity standards. We've gone after this a few years in a row and have not been awarded, I don't believe. But I want to thank the Planning and Zoning Office for continuing to push this. I'd ask for a motion to approve Resolution 3140.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Any public comment? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, 5, the Housing Authority of Warren County has requested that the Commissioners appoint Dr. William Clark to the Housing Authority Board. Any questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
I make that motion?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Public comment? All those in favor of appointing Dr. Clark to the Housing Authority Board, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, on the agenda, the Transit Authority of Warren County has requested that the Commissioners reappoint Mrs. Cindy Jarzab and Linda Swanson and Grace Wright for 5-year terms. Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve those appointments?
I move to approve the 3 appointments.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Any public comment? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have two agreements. One is with the Allegheny National Forest, and that is for Forest Patrol. It's particularly important that we pass this so that the Sheriff's Office can be doing their enforcement on A&F land. The second is with the Army Corps of Engineers. This is for dam patrol. The Sheriff's Office has been doing this for, I believe, last year, Ken said something like 40 years, 30-some years. Funding continues to go down. Nevertheless, it's kind of a pay-as-you-go model, so the county does not really lose anything. I actually did sign one of them due to urgency.
Take both of them, sorry.
Yeah, Commissioner Eccleston signed the other. So this is more or less actually these are amendments, as I recall.
Yeah, it's important to note that I mistakenly signed them as I thought we had already voted on this, but that's not the case. So these haven't been executed. It was just a mistake on my part.
Nothing's been done with them. Solicitor, have you had a chance to review them?
Yes.
I have, yeah.
Any questions? Not, could I have a motion to approve both the dam patrol agreement and the Forest Service Patrol agreement?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Any public comment? Mr. Scully?
These patrols, correct me if I'm wrong, they're not year-round, are they? Just are
No, I think they're mostly from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would it be that much? I mean, I can see the forest patrol because nobody's camping or up in there in the winter months. But how about this dam patrol that the sheriff's department do? Don't you feel that that possibly could be a thing that we should consider year-round due to the circumstances within this country right now?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to that, certainly. I think it's been a lack of resources up till now that's limited it. However, yesterday I actually had the opportunity to go to the White House, and while I was there, I did meet with someone from the Army Corps of Engineers. And the main takeaway from that conversation was that they're going to be increasingly pushing decision-making down to the local district. So, whereas in the past, these kinds of agreements that we're passing today have taken a long time to go through the system. Quite literally, this has been a couple months in process. Now, going forward, the Trump administration is kind of enabling the Army Corps of Engineers to have more local control, so we should just be dealing with kind of one person, the district commander. So I think that there may be some more flexibility going forward as to what those schedules might look like and what the agreements might look like. So, yes, thank you for your question. Anything else? Very good. Motion is made and seconded to approve the dam patrol and forest patrol agreements before us. All those in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Next on the agenda, cooperative agreement with Forest Warren Economic Opportunity Council. This is an agreement that I believe we pass every year. The agreement confirms Warren County agrees to collaborate in accordance with the applicable rules, regulations, and policies to the following: emergency solutions housing, homeless assistance, Head Start, weatherization, energy assistance, pre-K counts, pre-K scholarship, supportive housing, budget counseling, housing counseling, TANF employment, Produce Express, and re-entry housing. Questions? Do you hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion from the board. Public comment?
Just one question. I also received that letter from my office. I don't know if that's, I mean, I've already sent it out. I don't know if that's something that should come up through the board or.
To do veteran services?
Right.
I don't know.
We should review the letter first.
Well, I put it in the mail yesterday.
Well, next year maybe forward it on to the chief clerk. We'll take a look at it. But yes, that does stand out as one of the only services that they provide that probably the only one that's not on the list that I can think of. Yeah, well, next year, bring it up. Very good, thanks. If there's no other comments, all those in favor of the motion to approve the cooperative agreement with the EOC, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Repository bids. There are 2 repository bids on our agenda today. First is parcel number Whiskey November 5465927, Glade Township. This is at 1347 Conowago Avenue Extension, and it is 0.14 acres, currently owned by Sabre Land Company, bid on by Samuel Vernon Harvey for $262. Second is CY 333-9536 in Bear Lake Borough. It's on Greeley Street, currently owned by Janice Nichols and Willard Weichel. Bid on by Josh Spice for Carey's Fork Reef LLC, amount of $250. Questions? If not, I would ask for motion to approve the repository bids as listed.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion from the board? Public comment? All those in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Personnel transaction report. Since the last time we met, Melissa Zidonic was sworn in and took over as the coroner, and an annual salary of $19,893.49. And Austin Schwenke left the Sheriff's Department as a part-time deputy. Here, a motion to ratify the personnel transaction report.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Very good. Some closing comments. First of all, I will be out most of next week. That doesn't mean I won't be available, but I will be at family reunions and such, so not as responsive as normal. Since the last time we met, I wasn't able to make it to one of the work sessions, so I wanted to mention a few things. First of all, I went to the AHUG dinner, the Hardwoods Utilization Council, and they brought in a speaker that works as essentially a lobbyist / salesperson internationally for the industry. They had some very concerning statistics and graphs that they showed related to the sales in hardwood, particularly coming from this area, in large part due to the tariffs. Since then, I have spoken with a couple of the industry leaders in Warren County, and I found that it really is kind of a dire situation here. The Chinese have really targeted our local hardwoods. So that is a big concern for the industry. I also had the opportunity to go to Erie for a community revitalization class that was put on by Front Street, I believe. The organization is a statewide organization that's funded in cooperation with the DCED, and specifically they were talking about the DCED's Main Street program. I will, as soon as they get me the PowerPoint, be sending that on to you because I thought some of the information in it was particularly good. I also had the opportunity to go to a federal partnership. The Appalachian Region Commission was putting on a table talk exercise related to a new grant opportunity that the EPA, EDA, and ARC are working together on. This would most probably be used for broadband initiatives if we were to apply for it in Warren County. I know that Youngsville TV and we sat together, and it is something that I think we should support them in doing. If they don't do it next year, the county should probably look to apply for that. So I would just put a tickler for next year to remember to look into it. I think the application deadline is mid-July, so we could put something together if we wanted to try to go after it this year. These projects, if memory serves correctly, have to be within $250,000 and $2.5 million. I already mentioned the Northwest Commission study, and I wanted to alert you that I had talked to the Department of the Army related to an application to get a tank for a World War II memorial. Something that we've kind of joked about for the last couple of years, but I figured I would actually call them and see if that was a possibility. The waiting time to get such a memorial can take a couple years and cost up to $10,000 to demilitarize the equipment and or transport it. So it's not something that would happen in 2019, but if the board is all right with it, I'd at least like to put in the application to see if we could be awarded it. The consequences of not taking them up if awarded is that we couldn't apply for another 3 years. So I think the risk is minimal. If there's no objection, then I would ask that the chief clerk go ahead and apply. Like I said, it could take a couple of years, but I thought it was worth a shot. And maybe we could get it in between now and the end of the 75th anniversary of the war.
I have no issue with applying.
Few notes on my trip to DC. Thankfully, I did not end up having to charge anything to the county except for fuel in the vehicle. I was invited, well, for background, 2 years ago, all the commissioners of Pennsylvania were invited to go down to the White House for a kind of briefing. They brought in intergovernment agency departments and some special speakers such as Kellyanne Conway. And it was a great event, and I thought very much worth their time. This time around, they said that they were not inviting counties that had already participated. And then I got a call, I think it was like Friday afternoon, from friends that I have in the White House and said, they said that they wanted to have pre-meetings with me specifically, so to let the other commissioners know that they would be welcome to come to the bigger event, but they wanted me to come to some individual meetings beforehand. Those topics that we talked about beforehand generally have to do with criminal justice related initiatives. They're going to be connecting me with a foundation that may allow the county, if we apply and are awarded, the opportunity to have a study done on recidivism and some of the faith-based programs. I also met with Prison Fellowship while I was down there, and I thought that was a beneficial opportunity. During the kind of conference, actually at the White House, Kellyanne Conway came and spoke again about the importance to work on the local level with those of us that are fighting the opioid crisis. Ben Carson spoke about housing initiatives and such. I thought that his presentation was quite good. But of more specific note to Warren County, the USDA gave a presentation where they mentioned that they're aware of the Allegheny National Forest lack of board-foot cutting going on currently, and they would be convening a meeting at some point to talk about how they might encourage that. I also met with Congressman Thompson while I was down there and had a discussion about the same topic. So expect sometime, probably towards the end of the summer, a meeting with USDA and Congressman Thompson. I already mentioned what the Army Corps had said, and I also have a new updated list of intergovernment agency contacts for the commissioners, so I'll be forwarding that as an Excel sheet to you. And if you have any questions for Department of Labor or USDA or something like that, you'll have updated contact information for who we as Pennsylvania elected officials should go to. That is all. Do you guys want to have a work session next week?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Again, I probably will not be able to participate, but if I do, I'll be calling in. And then the work session following that would be the 24th, so that's the suffrage event. But yeah, I think it's probably best to have that work session next week. Very good. Any other commissioner comments? I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner, before you adjourn, can I remind you of one important thing that's coming up in the month of June, 21st of June, fire service meeting
Okay.
at Glade Township. It's pertaining, we're having a speaker come in to explain. We are in dire need of EMC and fire protection in this county. And he is going to explain, and everybody is invited, including the public, I'm sure, to hear. We're hoping to get enough of the different fire departments there so that we can solve. We have a serious, serious problem in Warren County as far as EMC and fire service. I think it would be very important that you attend the meeting if you can fit it in your schedule. Then I have one humorous comment. Is the security thing outside this courthouse being removed, or is it all for repair? The scanner that you walk through.
Scanner. I don't know.
There is no scan for this courtroom if they would use it for a legal court session today.
Oh, this court, they could bring up, they have a little standalone
Oh,
6-foot
okay.
thing that they could bring up.
I noticed that when I come that it wasn't there.
Yep. We have contingencies.
Please try and make it June 21st. It's a Thursday, I believe. It will help you to listen to the speaker over there.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend, as I previously told Mr. Pascuzzi, I was not able to be there to speak or kick it off, as I'll be at a family reunion. However, Jerry Ozak is an excellent speaker.
Very good.
Very knowledgeable about this area. He actually came from the insurance industry and the fire services, so he really has a good position of understanding both the fire services side and the difficulties of volunteerism, at the same time understanding liabilities and insurance.
And he's very up on Senate Resolution 6, which pertains to the fire service. Again, I can't emphasize enough. We're in dire need, and we may end up having problems in the near future.
Yes. Thank you. Final comments?
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that Friday is Flag Day.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Any other reminders, announcements, or public comment? Very good. I believe there was already a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it would be very, very good to have 7 o'clock.